Welcome to the RPGamer review of The Legend of Heroes Trail to Daybreak 2. This is read by Spare Empress, written by Severin Myra, and the video is edited by Airfrog. Neon Falcon, The Legend of Heroes series has been a bastion of consistency as the long-running series has told the deeply interconnected tales of the continent of Zemuria. The developer injected some much welcome freshness with The Legend of Heroes Trail to Daybreak, taking the game to a new nation and introducing an incredibly strong selection of new cast members as well as adjustment to its gameplay formula. Its follow-up, The Legend of Heroes Trail to Daybreak 2, ended up being a bit of a hot dog in the series. Rather than doing much itself to advance things, it puts the series in a holding pattern ahead of a game that does promise upheaval for the series and is perhaps best considered an elongated but still very enjoyable epilogue for the previous games. Trail to Daybreak 2 takes place 3 months after the event of Trail to Daybreak. Returning protagonist Van Arkwright, working as a brigand, effectively a hybrid of private detective and bounty hunter, based in the capital of Calvar Republic, is approached by Helen Hautelaire to help in investigating a series of gruesome murders. Van is connected to these murders through the apparent cultists, a red beast-like creature that looked early like a blue grendel form from that Van was able to take on a key point in the previous game. However, their investigation swiftly ends and their untimely deaths, introducing Trail to Daybreak 2 primary narrative feature, time leaps. The leap enabled by the mysterious Genesis device that were the focus of the previous game allow Van and his ally to return from disaster to a previous point with some memories of what transpired and therefore make alternate decisions to change fate. Trail to Daybreak 2 keeps a chapter-based structure from the previous game, although each chapter has a different flow to it, with the earliest chapter splitting into different parties investigating different happenings elsewhere. Time leaps are involved in these different chapters to varying degree, but despite the existence of a timeline UI to illustrate them in a different route, they are purely a narrative device. It is not a matter of player being able to find the ideal route themselves. They will simply go through all the failure state until the successful path presents itself. Most of the major players from Trail to Daybreak returns, with the addition of Trail into Reverie, Swing, and Nadia, as well as Shizuna stepping up as a permanent and hugely fun party members. While Trail to Daybreak acts as a solid entry point for newcomer, the nature of Trail to Daybreak 2 story means that the game is very reliant on player having played the previous games, and getting the most from Swing and Nadia character story is also reliant on having played Reverie as well. It makes for a curious juxtaposition between the Calvert games. Even though the first game managed to pack an incredible amount into its narrative, Daybreak 2 simply does very little to drive forward the overall series. The introduction of time travel likely open up some potential scope, but otherwise the advancements are primarily in minor thread. Saying that, Trail to Daybreak 2 still demonstrate Neon Falcon's ability to create and utilize a fantastic cast and get players feeling right at home with them. Found family has long been a huge theme for the series, and that continues here as many of the cast members are able to create incredibly strong bonds with others and use them for support. Van remained a superb protagonist, and his interaction with others never failed to delight, sparkling in multiple different ways. There are plenty of bonding events and conversations that help showcase the different characters as well as their motivation and goals, and plenty of time where it packs the emotional punches that the series does so well. Even though it might not drive forward any lingering thread all that much, the game still managed to throw in some intriguing self-contained mystery, plenty of twists, and charismatically threatening antagonists. This American localization is once again excellent, and the performance from the voice cast are still right up there, with the only complaint to be had on that front being that there could be more of it. Combat features some small changes from the refresh giving to it and Trail to Daybreak. During dungeon section, player initially engage enemies and action combat, trying to stun them before switching to the traditional turn-based system. The action part now allows players to cast an assigned art rather than relying fully on physical attacks, though it's still very straightforward and primarily a complement to the main draw of the turn-based system. The turn-based system, as the standard part one has come to expect, with Daybreak system placing great emphasis on character positioning thanks to the free movement, positioning, effectiveness of certain ability, combo link, and general propensity for area of effect attacks from enemies. S-boosts retain their vital importance, using a shared meter across the party and working alongside each character's shard skills. Shard skills are passive bonuses that have a set chance of activating increase when the character uses a S-boost. There are a major way players can build their party by equipping different squads to provide relevant shard skills, such as adding elemental damage to an attack, resisting statue effect, reducing an ally damage taken, and more. One small change does have a great impact on the balance, as character can no longer cast multiple S-craft in succession, necessitating more planning during combat to account for the lack of a powerful fail-safe. While there's also an adjustment to the UI to better showcase the upcoming turn order between the party and their foes. But otherwise, Neon Falcon has wisely elected to not tinker too much with a winning system where almost any action is available through just a few button presses and players can swiftly unleash strategic plans with a supremely effective UI and control scheme. The balance offers a strong mixture of challenge. Many of the regular enemies will go down pretty quickly and keep things moving along, although bosses can unleash some incredibly strong challenges. On the two easiest difficulty setting, however, any decently powerful party will take bosses down with little trouble. Trail to Daybreak 2 suffer from a relative lack of world building compared to other games in the series. The game's new areas just generally aren't as interesting as those introduced previously. The NPC stories also feel a bit restricted. The first game did such a great job with its character stories and rounding them off that it feels like it has left the second game with little room to advance them any further. The Law, Chaos, and Grey Alignment system also returned from the previous title, but has no narrative impact this time around, making it almost entirely superficial. It's definitely lent credence to the feeling that it worked more as a very large cap on top of the first Daybreak games. The new graphics engine introduced in the previous games work as well as before, making the best use of the resources available without trying to emulate the photorealism of a big-budget title. Important characters are all incredibly distinctive and memorable in their design, and there's a lot of welcome little touches all over the place to help realize the world. Neon Falcon sound theme musical score is once again solidly put together, providing a strong mix of uplifting in-town tracks, exciting battle themes, and contemplative emotional moments. After being absent from the first Calvard games, the mini-games that were largely a staple of the Cold Steel entries make their return in Daybreak 2, to varying results. The game's version of fishing is one of the series' most engaging, but the other minigames just feel obligatory reaction to player noticing they are not particularly miss previous absence. Meanwhile, The Marchand Garden is fairly comparable to the Reverie Corridor of Trail into Reverie, acting as a mostly optional virtual dungeon where a player can use a preferred party of character to help level up or gain various other bonuses, including acting as this game's main system for unlocking costumes. Its players a nice and easy way to level up characters, gain certain resources, or engage with the combat system. But despite the initial story connection, when introducing it and adding some extra New Game Plus future story hint, it feels like an inconsequential to the rest of the games. Trail to Daybreak 2 tries and bumps up the explorative part a little bit, with charge searching allowing player to do some tracking during certain quests and find resources in the world that are used in the Marchand Garden. While it may not be the most memorable entry in the series, The Legend of Heroes Trail of Daybreak 2 still has plenty of series fans thoroughly enjoy. Spending more time with the memorable and delightful cast is never a bad thing, and even though there are elements that don't quite hit the same or feel a bit superfluous, there's never any point where the game is in danger of becoming grating. Fans may well come to appreciate its role and simply holding the fort before Kai no Kiseki come to shake Cimmeria up. RPGamer give The Legend of Heroes Trail to Daybreak 2 3.5 out of 5. For more detail, hit up the link in the description below. For more video content, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitch for daily stream of your favorite RPGs. Join on the discussion at rpgamer.com on Discord. And for the latest in the RPG news, head over to rpgamer.com.